So I want to address one big thing I keep hearing coming up with people who are born into, I would call sick societies. So communities and cultures that don't take care of their children. And it's this idea I hear all the time, we're born into this world all alone. And I'm like, well, yes, in a sick society, you're immediately taken from the mother and put in another room and hidden. And then Dr. Ferber says the way you train children to self-soothe is by abandoning them whenever they have any feelings. So you grow up with that, and this starts. It's way back. It's not just Dr. Ferber. It's Nietzsche, Machiavelli, all these people from these communities and cultures that don't understand ourselves. We're a community animal. So when you're born into a healthy community, you're immediately put with the feminine mother care person, and then you're fed as soon as you can feed. And your umbilical cord is left for a few minutes, up to half an hour. So you're still having all the nutrients from your mother being again. So it is not universally true that you come into this world alone. And there's an aspect of that, which is you can only count on yourself. And I'm like, really? How many of us do we know who can't really count on? How many times have we let ourselves down? And when some big events came around in my life, I let myself down. What do you look at if you have addictions? Who's the one doing the addiction? It's you. Who's trying to help you out? Most of the people in your life, and of course, when you have the idea that you're all alone from being abandoned at the moment of birth, being taken from your mother, which is usually what happens. I mean, I do. There was the movie Junior where Arnold Schwarzenegger, don't remember the character's name, had a child. So you're taken from your primary caregiver immediately and abandoned, cold, isolated, lonely. And in in Europe and America in the 1800s, and still to this day in some places in Europe and America, you grab a baby, hang him, and slap him on the butt real hard to make him breathe, and to let him know that the universal state of life is misery. And it's like, a healthy community, you make sure that the airway is cleared, the baby is laid with the birth person and fed as soon as they're able to feed, and held and cared for, and been in skin to skin contact with a caregiving human for the first 24 or 48 hours of their lives. And so what do we do with this almost universal experience of complete abandonment at birth? Well, we make it universal, and then we say this is the state of beings. And how do you deal with that? You start to either desperately crave the the approval of other humans, or do the fox and the grapes from Aesop's fable of, oh, if I can't have grapes, they must be sour. And there's all this stuff on my Facebook feed in my community. Well, you can only count on yourself, and don't ever care about what other people think. Other people are, so what does that mean? Don't care about what other people think. In my mind, I'm, oh, so you think everybody except you is an idiot. You're the only expert in the world. And I've been pushing back on Facebook and some groups against that with, I have people in my life that I respect and care for deeply, and I care deeply about what they think about what I'm saying and doing. And I ask them, and they tell me, and that's feedback. And I go, oh, okay, so this is the world, right? So this rejection of the world, and we're isolated beings, and only a lone, unique human is okay. Any human that expresses caring or needing of other humans is weak, is very strange to me. Now, I was exposed to a Pueblo community from birth until 7 or 8 years old, which thought of humans as a community animal, which we mainly are, right? And there's this acceptance of all points of view thing that's like, well, you have individualistic societies and you have communistic societies that are about, oh, who are you? Well, my parents are, my cousins are, my brothers and sisters are, my children are. This is who I am, right? I'm one of these group. And then there's, well, I'm a I work for Goldman Sachs. I make $100,000 a year. I have a Mercedes Benz. I have a pretty wife, and now you can work at Goldman Sachs, and it's relatively new. and have a husband, whether you're male or female or identify as male or female. I have good children. That is who I am. It is what I do and what I have. Nothing else matters. So we look, if you step back and look at it, it's like, oh, the human animal, it really generally is communal, and most great advances in the world are made by team effort. And then we have this great myth of the great man. And notice, where's the great woman? Mother Mary. What did she do? She passively had a child that then went off on his own. Um, so we can think about that too. And that's a huge, another ball of wax of the separation of humans, right? If you're male, you can only do these things. If you're female, you can only do those things. And if you cross that, then you get ostracized. Anyways, so my main point, realize that you can count on yourself just as much as you can count on other people. Not more, not less. Um, for me, I am not the only genius in the world, right? There's a lot of smart people out there who care about goodness in general, and me specifically, that I can ask for their thoughts on me, and that will make my life better. The fact that I listen to what they think about my actions and words. And three, you don't come into this world alone unless you are deliberately abandoned by a system or a person that doesn't understand human nature. So I would love your guys' thoughts on that. That is my opinion.